Today's daily recap is for BTG Beyond the Gates is for Tuesday, November the 11th. Tuesday, November the 11th. Well, Smitty has to take the time to talk Martin off the ledge, you know, pretty much not threaten him, but remind him it's his kind of behavior that he's exhibiting right now is what causes the rift and the break in the family. And then Martin says, "No, I am protecting our children. And so you're trying to now threaten me with leaving if because I want to protect the family." He says, "No, Martin, it's the way you're going about doing it. You are making things worse. You have unilaterally pushed Samantha away." He says, "But you do that, Martin. When you want to do the things you want to do, you push people away so that you don't have to consider their feelings." No, no. He goes, "Yeah, yes, you do." And so he says, "You could see this situation got worse and you made it worse by unilaterally saying Samantha could not work for Chelsea Cat." And so after a long conversation, Smitty says, "Now we have to decide together what we're going to do. And I tell you what, Martin, we got to change course." Okay? Because Samantha's very strong-willed, which is why my brand of tough love, Smitty says, is not working. He goes, "Okay, what I feel we should do, we should completely disconnect our kids from the internet because they're just, with the posting." She goes, "Because Nathan wasn't paying any attention to Samantha until she started posting those modeling pictures." And Smitty just looked at him and he goes, "Oh, okay, so you really going ancient old school. That's like our parents telling us we can't use a cell phone, we got to use a landline." And Martin looked at him. He goes, "For one thing, Martin, Samantha did not meet Nathan online. Samantha goes to school with Nathan. They have a couple of classes together. Wasn't online. But still, and he goes, and why would you want to punish Tyrell for something Samantha did?" He says, "No, Martin, let's talk about plan B. Let's get a plan B." And he says, and one part of plan B is Samantha needs her job back. Samantha needs to be working at Chelsea Cat. Now he goes, "But had you, no, my sister is irresponsible." She goes, "No, we need to talk to Cat. And there are no adult sexual conversations whenever Samantha is working with them. Period. And Samantha should not have a key to that studio because she's proven she will use that key to do what she wants to do." He goes, "With proper boundaries." He goes, "Because Samantha's thriving on that job and she loves it. We should not take that away." Now, her punishment, as far as I'm concerned, Smitty says, "Oh, that still stands." And Martin says, "Oh, and we need to add something to it for the way she talked to us." Smitty says, "Yeah, okay." Right. But the good scene to me was Joan. I mean, June. June ain't playing. June sat down and Samantha did the "Can I live with you?" Because June, when she sat down, she goes, "Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, this is all because of that Nathan boy. You know he's no good." Instead of just dropping a milkshake on him, I should have dropped some hot, did she say soup or something hot on him? Yeah, that's what I should have done. And Samantha's just looking at her. And then she's like, they don't understand me. My dads are too strict and blah, blah, blah. Can I live with you? And June says, oh, baby, I would love one day for you and Tyrell to be with me. She says, however, I am absolutely not in the position to take care of you. She says, she goes, I am so grateful for this second chance in having a relationship with you two, but you're older now. She says, and I'm here for you. You could, but there's two guys, they don't understand. She says, okay, you could call me anytime. And I'm sure your dads won't have a problem with me coming to the house to visit you while you're on punishment. And so she said something, and she goes, Samantha, your fathers love you very much, and I feel they're right. And she looked at June, and she goes, oh, yeah, because, you're wilding out. Really, pretty much. She goes, they are right in disciplining you. And I'm not going to allow you to try to put me in the middle to circumvent their decisions. Well, what would you do? Would you be as strict as they are? Would you? And she goes, I may have different views than they do, or even different methods. And she goes, I know, but I mean, just hypothetically, what would you do? Do you feel they're fair? She goes, you know what? That doesn't even, she wasn't even going to go there. Good for you, June. She said, you have people that love you and will do anything for you. And so Samantha and Tyrell had already had a heart to heart, and she was saying she feels so bad. She told June, I can't even look them in the eye because of the horrible things I said to them. And June told her a story about, the rift between her and her mother. And she said, my mother died before I could apologize for what I told her. She goes, you have an opportunity to tell your dads how you feel. Don't miss the opportunity. So she goes home, Tyrell and her go home, and she apologizes. She goes, I absolutely don't hate you. I'm sorry I said that. But what I regret the most is when I said that I wished you had never adopted us, that I would be better, we'd be better off, or me, I'd be better off somewhere else. She said, I definitely don't mean that. You bringing us into your family, she did a great job, right? And so Martin says, thank you so much for saying that. She said, I don't hate you. And then she's talking about them together, and they said, we're a family. And Martin says, and I need to apologize too. I unilaterally made the decision that you weren't going to work at Chelsea Cat anymore. Smitty says, changed, we're changing that decision. You can definitely work there again. She goes, thank you, thank you. He goes, but there's gonna be, a little tweaking with that situation. And then he says, oh, and for what you did storming out of the house and you're on punishment, that's adding an additional day to your punishment. And she goes, that's fair. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's fair, girl. They could have had your bags packed. And then what you gonna do? Where you going? Grandma Nicole already said, well, no, you need to work that out at home. Right? You gonna go to great grandma Anita and Vernon's? Oh. Mm. That would be interesting because they really would have you on lockdown. So anyway, that little situation is better. But you know what was hilarious to me, y'all? Haley. Mhm. She looking at Isaiah when she wanted her and Bill to go to lunch. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm meeting a new client." And she goes, "Who? Who is it?" He goes, "Nobody, nobody you need to concern yourself with." And so she goes, "Well, maybe you need a paralegal." "No, I don't think so." Isaiah walks in and Bill stands up, Isaiah Hawthorne. And he's smiling, and Isaiah's smiling at him, and Haley's like, "Oh, mm, mm, mm. Who's he?" Now, Caroline was at the door. She was going to introduce Isaiah. And Bill says, Caroline, there are no introductions necessary, right? And so, anyway, Haley looks and she goes, "Oh," she interjects herself into the conversation. And Isaiah says, she goes, "Oh, I'm Haley Hamilton." And he looks at Bill. He goes, "Bill, I know you have two daughters. Is she a niece?" And Bill said, "No, she's not a niece. Haley is my wife." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Yes, I know. I am quite a bit younger than he is." I added that. So anyway, Bill says, "But no, no, mm-mm. For one, I look good for my age." And so Isaiah said, my bad, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean nothing." He goes, "I didn't know." Bill says, "No, no, there's a lot's happened since you've been gone." And so he says, "You know what, Haley, baby, why don't you and uh what's her name? His assistant, Caroline, why don't you two go to lunch?" So they go, and he and Isaiah are chit-chatting and they're talking, right? And Caroline kind of hits up Haley and says, "I saw you checking out Isaiah." And Haley was like, "No, no, I only have eyes for my husband." She goes, "For one thing, we, let's be real, Isaiah is easy on the eyes." And I mean, I'm not blaming you for just looking, right? And so she's like, but anyway, she goes, "No, it's me and Bill." So when she gets back, she brings Bill some Orphe jeans. Isaiah's gone. And Haley's like, "Oh, so what was it about? He's got a big case he's bringing?" And he goes, "I thought so, but no, really, it's a bus." I even turned it over to Tomasi, what he needs done. It's not in anything that I need to be involved with." She goes, "Oh, okay." And so she goes, "I've got something for you." And he says, "Oh, okay." So Caroline comes in, "Bill, there's a mock trial. You want to sit in on it, for the whatever case." So he goes, "Sure." And he takes his tablet and he runs out. So Haley takes the food out and his soup. She spikes it with some more drugs. And then it shows Bill coming back in. She goes, "Look, why don't you eat your lunch because you don't want your soup to get cold?" And he goes, "No, no, baby. I got something else in mind." And she's like, "What?" So she's hugging him and the camera's showing her face and she's like, now it's more like a, "Oh man, you kind of repulsing me." And I'm thinking, girl, he's gonna see you eyeballing eye candy Isaiah. So the next thing that happened is Kat is ratting and raving to Chelsea about that doggone Eva. And, first she tries to take everything I have. She slept with Tomas, trying to take him. And Tomas comes out the kitchen, I guess. We don't know. I don't know how many rooms that little guest house has. And she looked at him. She goes, and she looked at Chelsea like, you think you could have said Tomas is here as I'm ranting. But Kat didn't give Chelsea a chance pretty much to say anything. Just look, the coffee I went out for, I got pissed off. I forgot it. So she's telling them both about Eva calling Ted dad. And, how dare she do that? And this gutter snipe, low, just cat being cat. And Tomas says, well, in actuality, cat, he is her dad. So what's wrong with him, wanting her to call him? Everything is wrong with that. She does not deserve to call. She is just a product of a mistake. Oh, she's just going on and on. Well, guess who comes walking through their door? Eva. She goes, well, this product is here to put you on notice. And Kat says, you can't just walk in here. She said, the door is unlocked. Why not? She says, I have tried to make peace with you, but I'm done trying. She says, our father, our father wants me to call him dad, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let your tantrum, you hating me, stop that. She said, because I have tried to have some kind of relationship with you and your nastiness, your hatred, you won't have it. She goes, fine. But I will have a relationship with our dad. And so Kat says, well, you, this, that, and the other. And he bring it. She goes, you know what, Kat? She says, you forget. I didn't grow up behind these gates. And I'm a fighter. Anything you think you can do to me, I can do better. So she goes, yeah, like mother, like daughter, obviously. And Eva looked at her and said, exactly. Like mother, like daughter. So you better watch trying to come for me. And so Eva goes to walk away. And Kat acts like she gonna be right behind Eva. Eva stops. She turns and she looks at Kat. And Kat stops right there in her tree. Yeah, Kat, you stopped. And Eva said some party remark to her. I forget what it was. And then she turned and she walked out. And Tomas looked at her and he's like, Kat, why do you always revert to this? The mere mention of Eva's name and you turn into this, what do you call her? Nasty, this something, I forget the words he used to describe her, right? And he goes, and she goes, so you taking her side still after everything, you know? He goes, no, after everything, Kat, how I feel about anything doesn't matter to you. This ugliness, that turns me off, right? She goes, after you heard her, everybody heard you heard her threatening me. She said she'd be coming for me. Until Tomas said, Kat, you were the one antagonizing her, saying all kind of nasty things to her, right? And then Tomas got a phone call from Isaiah because Bill says, no, my associate handles contract law. He wants him to look over the Banneker contract. He says, before I uproot my life and move across country, I want to see, is this a good offer? Is it ironclad? And is it something I could depend on, right? So he says, no, Tomas is really good at that. And he told him Bill gave him his number and said, "Can you meet me at Uptown?" And Tomas looked at Cat. He had his back to Cat and he goes, "Now would be a great time." Right? He's out of there. So then when he left, Cat was still spewing her venom, and Chelsea's like, "Cat, Tomas is right, right? What, you taking Eva's side too?" She goes, "No, Cat, you're extra, right?" No, she cannot have my father. And so Chelsea said, "But it's her father too." And I thought you said that he can't have both of you, and you walked away from him. You said you didn't want nothing to do with him. I am going to make sure that he regrets choosing Eva. I'm gonna see to it. And Kat said, Chelsea looked at her. She goes, "Now who sounds like Leslie?" And she looked at Chelsea and she says, "Well, maybe I should take a page out of her playbook." She get, and I thought, okay, yeah, there you go. You're getting ready to get yourself in a world of trouble, and I'll be happy and ready to watch it. My least favorite character is Kat. To me, Ashley's a waste, but they do need a nurse when they show the hospital, not just Shanice. So I could deal with Ashley being one of the nurses because she doesn't really make an impact. But as far as dominant characters, Kat is just the worst to me. I dislike Kat more than I dislike Leslie. I just do because she's just a vindictive, horrible person inside. Completely, inside and out. And if you aren't on her class level, she really snubs her nose at you. Entitled? Oh my goodness. So anyway, Isaiah is talking to Eva because Eva goes to Uptown and orders herself a drink after dealing with Kat, right? And he goes, "Drinking so soon?" She didn't see him over there. She goes, "After the day I've had, if you want to police my drinking, you need to go over there." Right? And he goes, "No, I'm just, what happened?" So she is just saying, "I don't know why I try with Kat. I don't know why I try." And then he's talking about, oh, family drama. "Well, I've had the same and blah, blah, blah." And she goes, "Is that another reason you coming back to mend fences?" He goes, "No, I don't know." She says, "But you and Jacob have a relationship." He goes, "Yeah, I do, with Jacob." She goes, "Jacob has appointed himself the Joseph in our family. He has tried to keep me and our other brother communicating. He's even trying to do some kind of bridge with our father, right? That's just Jacob." He goes, "But now I'm finding out there's some critical things that happened while I was gone that Jacob didn't bother to tell me, you know." So anyway, they were just kind of chit-chatting, and Tomas comes in. And so Eva says, "Oh, hi, Tomas. Thank you for just checking up on me. I'm okay." And so Tomas looks at her. He goes, "Well, actually," she goes, "But how did you know I was here?" And he goes, "Actually, I'm not here checking up on you. I'm meeting a client here." And Isaiah turns around. He goes, "And that would be me, Isaiah Hawthorne." And he shakes his hand. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And Eva's looking like, "Oh, you know him, right?" And so Tomas says, "Let's go sit over here." So they sit at a table and he tells him, what he needs from him and blah, blah, blah. And so Isaiah says, "Yeah, but I need to make sure that this won't be a conflict of interest for you." And he goes, No, our firm doesn't represent Banneker University, so no, this won't be a conflict. He goes, no, it has nothing to do with the university. He says, Eva and I have been hanging out together and are hanging out together. And I know there's some history. You were involved with Eva. And Eva turns because she's looking at them, and Tomas kind of looks at her, and Isaiah's looking that way. And he says, no, no, no conflict. I am with her sister. So there's no conflict. And so Isaiah said, oh, okay, good. And I thought, well, that was a nice little crafty way of Isaiah letting him know, I know you had a little history, but now I want to see where your head's at. Because I don't want there to be a problem when I'm trying to go out with her. Right? Isaiah did that real smooth. I like the way he handled that conversation, right? Because Tomas does like to play straddling the fence a bit. Straddling the fence. That's definitely Tomas. So anyway, everybody, that's it. Nothing else happened on the show. I will be back tomorrow with another day. Oh, you know what? Let's see what's happening on Comment Corner. Let's do that. I'm going to pull up my BTG comments and we'll just read a few of them. Let me start my trusty dusty timer. Uh Tara says, I can see Ted and Shanice having a cute relationship. I know, why don't they have Shanice with somebody? She's got a good head on her shoulders. Kat truly gets on my nerves. I was glad that Martin told Kat, the brat, about herself and her actions, but both of them two are a piece of work. Ted and Nicole, they raised some hot-headed, one-sided people. I hope Leslie does not take paying for the surgery as Ted owes her something. She probably will. She'll never let anybody not know she didn't pay for it. Dee Dee says, Kat knew Martin was going to be pissed with her. Yes, she did. Black Purple Turquoise says, I love Danny and Andre. Together, they are fire. They can continue to be a beautiful, dynamic duo together. I love seeing more and more layers of their relationship together, but also as individuals involved. They're so cute. And again, I was beyond thrilled that Thursday's episode, he told Ashley he was falling in love with her and their marriage is now really real. Good. I was happy too. Little Miss Cry Me a River nurse can get to stepping and tell her stories walking. And she better not even think of pulling a Haley, and Andre better not pull a Bill either, and cheat on her together. They, but especially her, better not even so much as peep the idea. Thanks, Miss Daily Recap Lady. And Sandra says, good day, wonderful review. I wonder if anger management could help Martin and Kat with Smitty and the kids. Something needs to help both of them. The scene at the hospital with Ted and Shanice, Eva and Kat and Nicole was something to think about. Kat really needs help with her anger. Yes, she does. Kat wants Ted so bad, Tomas so bad, she needs to focus on her relationship with Tomas and Chelsea Cat. Please, writers, find common ground. Some place for Kat and Eva. Oh, that could be next year. You know how soap operas are. We got time for that to happen, just not right away. I'm cool with that. Carolyn says Kat wasn't talking to herself, and I'm tired of Martin and Nicole. They continue to discount Kat's feelings. Ted is doing the same thing, acting as if Kat doesn't exist. Martin is going to drop off the deep end, uh, is going off the deep end, and no regards for Smitty when it comes to Samantha. When they all lose Kat, What will happen when they all lose Cat? Where's she going? Where was Chelsea in this whole mess? Cat was solely blamed by Martin. Yeah, I know. He didn't blame his cousin. That was interesting. And then Cleo says, everyone dumped on Cat yesterday. I didn't like that. Martin's daughter is going to sleep with that boy just because of what her pops did and said. She's going to rebel. And then LA 214 says, Martin has a lot of nerve yelling at Kat and trashing her character. He wouldn't have to worry about me talking to him or his precious daughter again. Uh-oh, you put a word I ain't saying here. La la 240, 214. And then Roy says Martin was wrong. Kat and Chelsea was in a private conversation. Samantha eavesdropping. That's really what happened. I used to give Samantha the benefit of the doubt, but not no more. She will put her actions on anyone to get out of the problem or out of trouble. Martin will regret how he talked to his sister. Kat should have stormed off. Nicole and Kat may not be close, but Kat is her daughter, and the child she finally had after having so many miscarriages. Kat is the reason Nicole jumped on Leslie because she started talking about Kat, which is more than what Ted has done on her behalf of Kat. Yeah, that's true. And then let me go down. Kathy says Ted and Nicole are the worst parents. Ted never has time for Kat or Martin. He is always up for Eva and Leslie. Yeah, Leslie's butt. That's true. Ron says Martin is going to lose Samantha. Well, it looks like it kind of worked out today. Lucy says Kat Richardson needs to grow up. Eva is your sister. You share a father. Uh, too bad on you that Eva Tomas calls Ted dad now. Eva Thomas calls Ted dad now. And then Alicia says Martin is going a little too far with everyone involved in this. And I'm telling you, Martin's whole suggestion on taking them off the grid, that was the stupidest comment on the planet. And I thought, see, that he does not need to raise kids on his own because they would be some miserable people. Miserable. All right, that's all the comments I'm going to read, everybody. I will be back tomorrow with another daily recap of BTG Beyond the Gates.